Hey YouTube, Colts Law, Lawrence Owen, here to talk to you about the Colts. Flat on my order, right? I mean, come on. Holy cow. The Colts lose 2 games in a row. Pittsburgh, Miami. All of a sudden, like half of Colts fans out there were ready to just drop them. They were like, it's over, season's over, start tanking, got to get a better quarterback, blah, 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 blah. No, come on. All right, the Pittsburgh game, there was like 50,000 things that went wrong in that game, including where Jacoby Brissett went down. All right, Brian Hoyer goes in, turnovers start happening all left and right. All right, that's because, quite frankly, Pittsburgh was a very good, opportunistic defense who could get after the quarterback. Brissett's in there, he doesn't get sacked nearly as much. Brissett's in there, he doesn't throw that interception, pick six, 96 yards, Well, odds are he doesn't, anyhow. The Miami game, tons of stuff went wrong, all based around the fact that Brian Hoyer was overthrowing anyone that ran a route 10 yards or deeper. He was overthrowing them 5 yards or more. And if they ran 10 yards or shorter, he was throwing it behind them on those crossing patterns and stuff. He was not very good. And yet, all this context to these games, well, you still couldn't beat Miami, who's tanking the season. You couldn't beat Pittsburgh, who's god-awful. I agree. Awful games, but context. Enter the Jacksonville game this past Sunday. Enter Jacoby Brissett with scaffolding on his knee so that he's allowed to play. And yet somehow, in this game, even with that knee brace on there, he's able to make all kind of... He put Calais Campbell on the ground. He juked him out of his own feet. His feet was like out this way, juked him right out of it and then ran off to the side and threw a touchdown. Ran in for a touchdown. All right? This is a game that shows the depth that the Indianapolis Colts have, okay? Because, quite frankly, the Colts were just beating the snot out of Jacksonville this whole game. It didn't show it. It didn't show it until the third quarter. But they really were. They had control of this game from the get-go. Marlon Mack had 80 yards rushing on 10 carries halfway through the second quarter. Okay? Then he gets hurt. Actually, he doesn't even get a carry for like the last 6 minutes of the second quarter. They get 2 or 3 drives where they just start throwing the ball and incompletions. Why do you not feed a hot hand? Why do you not feed a hot hand? Dumb. Yes, Jacksonville was loading the box. They were loading the box when he was gaining 10, 15 yards per carry almost every time he touched the football. Still feed him. You gotta feed him. Then Marlon Mack goes out, busted hand. Fractured it. He's done for a while. Don't know what that injury is. Don't know if it's a metacarpal. Don't know if it's a phalange. What? I don't know, but he fractured a bone in his hand. He's done for a little bit. In comes Jonathan Williams, a guy that I watched in training camp personally. Since day one of training camp, the guy was out there running hard. Every time he touched the football, ran hard. He showed it this game. He was given his opportunity, and he flat out busted out some yards. He didn't look like Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack's got that shiftiness, that jukes, that one-cut ability to be able to make people miss in the second level of the defense. Whereas Jonathan Williams can just power through just about any tackle that you could think of. And then turn on the gas and go. Okay? So, with him, Marlon Mack, Jordan Wilkins, who has the highest average on the team, well, besides Jonathan Williams now. But Wilkins has something like 5.8 yards a carry for his career since the beginning of last year when he was drafted. Naheem Hines is a great running back. And he's got this juke ability, able to make people, anyone out there miss out in the open field. All right, and pick up a bunch of extra yards afterwards. With that offensive line, this running back stable might be the best in the NFL. as a stable. I'm not saying they have the best running back, okay? I mean, you got Christian McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott and, a bunch of other running backs out there that are very, very, very good. But as a stable, the Colts have a very deep stable. Might be the deepest position group they have. Outside of maybe safety. Safety's pretty darn solid too, okay? Speaking of which, this defense for the Colts has been lights out since the Kansas City game. All right, back in, I think it was week 5. Lights out. Lights out. I think they're ranked 9th in the NFL right now. I think they have the 9th or 8th ranked rush defense in the NFL and something around the 12th ranked pass defense in the NFL. They're top 10. They're a top 10 defense. Who could say that about the Colts? And you're going to look at, well, recently, yes, they played Pittsburgh's offense and Miami's offense. But don't forget, I mean, they played the Chargers offense. Oakland Raiders have been looking very good lately. They played them. They played Kansas City. They played the Texans. They played some high-powered offenses, and yet still they are a top 10 defense. So, yeah, that's where their strength lies. Running game, defense. What does that sound like? That sounds like playoff teams to me. That's what everybody in the NFL, every media person, everyone who talks football straight up says. You need a good defense and a really strong running game to win in the playoffs. And that's exactly how this Colts team is built. Then you slip in Jacoby Brissett, who's finally back. And now teams ain't going to have to be able to, load the box with 8 or 9 people in the box, stop the run. And what happens when you can't do that? You take a top 10 defense like this here Jacksonville Jaguars team that I'm sitting here showing, and you make them look petty. And you run for 260-some yards on them. All right? Because they can't load that box because Jacoby Brissett is not only very accurate, but he's also very careful with the football. He does not give away the ball very often. If he throws an interception, it's maybe one a game. Never more than that. And the guy, will take a should-be sack, get out of it, and then throw for a deep pass. Ask Von Miller when we played the Broncos. Von Miller had him dead to rights in the end zone for a safety. He broke out of it, ran out of the end zone, threw like a 30-yard strike to T.Y. Hilton on the sideline. All right? Jacoby Brissett is a very good quarterback. Probably around top 15 when he's healthy. Problem. We go in short week going into the Houston Texans here coming up. Right? Houston Texans just got blown out. Straight up blown out by the Baltimore Ravens. I picked the Texans to win this game. I thought, you know what? The Texans got a really good offense. Their defense ain't that good anymore. But they're, because J.J. Watt's gone for the season. Jadeveon Clowney's over there in Seattle. So, but I still picked them to win because I thought if any team could keep up with Baltimore's offense, it's the Houston Texans. Because I thought the Houston Texans had one of the best offenses in the NFL. I'll be talking, hopefully, I just asked Brett Coleman a little because he loves the Texans. And shout out to Brett Coleman. If you don't watch any of Brett Coleman's videos, what are you doing? Turn mine off. Go check out Brett Coleman real quick. And then come back and check mine. Okay? But seriously, all right, Houston Texans got great offense. I mean, they got 2 really good running backs, Duke Johnson and Carlos Hyde. They got the quarterback, Magic Deshaun Watson. They got Hopkins. They got Fuller. They got Kiki Kuti. They got Stills. They got weapons. They're dangerous. Their offensive line is so much better than it used to be. Now they got tons along the line. And they drafted one. Come on. What happened? What happened? And now the Colts are going to have to suffer that because the Colts just blew out Jacksonville. Short week, go in to NRG Stadium to have to face the Texans, who got blown out by Baltimore. They're coming in wanting revenge for looking so bad, and the Colts are going in on a high. So this doesn't really look good for the Colts, especially for the fact that T.Y. Hilton still has that quad injury. Pierre Desir's got a leg injury. Paris Campbell's got a busted hand. Devin Funchess had that clavicle week 1 against the Chargers. He's back practicing, but I don't know if he'll be able to play this week. You got, who is it? Kari Willis, I think, that suffered a concussion in the game against Jacksonville. There's so many injuries. Not to mention Jacoby Brissett is still gimped a little bit on his leg with that knee injury. So the Colts, depth-wise, that's why the Colts are so important, because they have one of the best rosters in the NFL, from 1 to 53. No, they don't have the star power that some of these other teams have. They don't have Deshaun Watsons and DeAndre Hopkins and all these guys. They don't have the superstar power. But I'll tell you what, that 53rd man on the roster, pardon me, that 53 man on the roster on the Colts, when he goes in and has to replace the starter, it's not that big of a drop in talent. That's what Chris Ballard brings to the table. He's able to go out and get depth. All right? Because that's so important, because injuries happen, especially when you're mid to late in the season or in the playoffs. You got injuries on your team. You have to be able to have next man up philosophy. And the Colts have that. The Colts have a very good next man up philosophy, because it seems like every time a guy goes down, someone steps up in their place. The only issue is the wide receiver group has had serious problems, because when you have 3 of your 4 best receivers go down, and you're playing with 3rd, 4th stringers, practice squad guys, you're going to have a serious drop. Doesn't matter how good your depth is. When your top guys, all of them are gone, then you're down here in this area. Okay? Zach Pascal stepped up big time in the last few weeks in the absence of T.Y. Hilton. All right. Colts still have a very good tight end group that they can use. Eric Ebron, Jack Doyle, Mo Alley Cox. And with the running game and the offensive line, if they ran 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, or 1 running back, 3 tight end setups, it's very, very dangerous, because that shows heavy personnel. Defense have to be out there on a base defense. Yet all these tight ends can catch. All of them. Even Mo Alley Cox, you guys don't know about him, but go check a highlight last year where he did this one-handed reach out way up in the air and caught it one-handed in the end zone for a touchdown. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful throw by Andrew Luck. I hope Andrew Luck's doing well, by the way. I hope he's happy. Right now, the Colts are fighting their butts off to win the division and make the playoffs. I will be back later with a preview for the Texans game, hopefully. I want everybody that is watching this, please go down in the description, click the link on Sportscaster, because that's where most of my videos have been. All right, click the link, make a quick profile, spend 30 seconds, make a very fast profile on Sportscaster, and click follow me. That way you get notifications when I post my videos. I have tons of videos on there. All right, tons. I need to break out here on YouTube, and I will start. Don't forget, smash that subscribe button, okay? Because the more subscribers I have, the more content I will put out on YouTube, okay? That's what I'm going to base it on. I love you guys. You guys are why I'm here. You sit here, you watch my content. I am going to put out as much as I possibly can, okay? But it's all about time. I have a daytime job. I would like to be able to go full-time into this and just let my daytime job go. I love football. You guys love football. Help me do this for you. Don't forget, I'm on Patreon. I have no Patreon supporters yet. I really would like some. As soon as one person supports me on Patreon, I will start putting Patreon specific content for you guys. I don't have any Patreon specific content yet, but I will have as soon as I start getting. I don't care if you guys just give me $2 a month as a support. What's $2? That's like a 20-ounce bottle of soda, right? A month. As soon as that happens, I will start dropping content 2 times a month, specifically only for supporters, for you guys. Okay? So yes, please share, like, subscribe. Check me out on Twitter, Colts_Law. Follow me. I got a ton of stuff that I post out there. But right now, this is what I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law. And I want you to have a good one.